Your textbook offers a comprehensive exploration of the history of barbering, tracing its roots from ancient times to the modern era. The book delves into the evolution of barbering as an esteemed profession. It highlights the cultural significance of grooming practices across diverse civilizations and delves into the development of barbering techniques, tools, and styles. Emphasizing the barber's role in society, the textbook provides a rich historical backdrop, showcasing the profession's transformation into the art form. The narrative unfolds through the lens of your textbook authoritative guidance, offering a thorough understanding of the historical journey of barbering. The history of barbering, lesson objectives. Upon completion of this lesson, student barbers will be able to discuss the evolution of barbering and the origin of the word barber, describe the practices of the barber surgeons and the meaning behind the barber pole, identify the organizations responsible for advancing the barbering profession and explain the functions of the state barber boards, recognize the recent resurgence of barbering in the 21st century and the wealth of opportunities available to the new barber. Why study the history of barbering? Barbering is one of the oldest documented professions. Understanding its evolution can provide you with an appreciation of the prominent role it achieved in different cultures throughout the ages. Knowing the history of your profession can help you predict and understand upcoming trends. Having a clear picture of how modern barbering organizations and regulations develop gives you a better idea of where you fit into the profession at large and what is expected of you as a barber. Barbering is one of the oldest professions in the world, whether from a sense of aesthetics or because of religious conviction. Virtually all cultures practice some form of beautification and adornment, given the archaeological evidence found in painted pottery, early sculptures, and burial mounds. As civilization advanced, so did the barbering profession, developing from its beginnings in cultural and tribal necessity to the art form it is today. Understand the history of barbering. Ancient cultures. Archaeological studies from around the world have shown that haircutting and hairstyling were practiced as early as the glacial age. Customs and traditions. The beliefs, rituals, and superstitions of early civilizations varied from one ethnic group to another, depending on the region and social interactions with other groups. The beard and shaving. With the razor being such a defining tool for barbering, the history of shaving, as well as caring for the beard in general, deserves a second look. The Upper Paleolithic period, the Neolithic period, and ancient Egypt. Trace the rise of the barber surgeons. By the Middle Ages, barbers not only provided tonsorial services, but also entered the world of medicine, where they figured prominently in the development of surgery as a recognized branch of medical practice. The barber surgeons formed their first organization in France in 1096 AD, and by the 1100s had created a guild of surgeons that specialized in the study of medicine. The Worshipful Company of Barbers Guild was formed in London, England in 1308 with the objective of regulating and overseeing the profession. Barber Surgeons Guild of 1397. Following the formation of the first French Barbers Guild in 1096, barber surgeons under the rule of the King's Barber formed another guild in 1371, which lasted until about the time of the French Revolution in 1789. The symbol of the barber pole evolved from the technical procedures of bloodletting performed by the barber surgeons. Understand modern barbering organizations and state boards. By the end of the 19th century, the profession of barbering had completely separated from religion and medicine, emerging as an independent profession. During the late 1800s, the profession structure changed and it began to take a new direction. The formation of employer organizations known as master barber groups and employee organizations known as journeyman barber groups was the first steps towards upgrading and regulating the profession. During this era, the emergence and growth of these organizations helped establish precedents and standards that are part of today's barbering profession. The Associated Master Barbers of America was organized in Chicago, Illinois in 1924, eventually expanding to include beauty salon owners and managers and changing its name to the Associated Master Barbers and Beauticians of America in 1941. Working in cooperation with the AMBBA, the National Association of Barber Schools, formed in 1927, developed a program that standardized the operation of the barber schools themselves. Created in 1929 in St. Paul, Minnesota, the National Association of State Boards of Barber Examiners was organized to solidify the qualifications required for barber examination applicants and the method of evaluation to be used. The NABBA established the month of September as National Barber Month in recognition of the contributions of the barbers to the fabric of our society. Consider the state of barbering today. The profession has been shaped by advances in technology throughout the centuries. From the earliest shears and the manual clippers of the 19th century to the high-quality electric tools and social media available today. The 1940s and 1950s represented the heyday for American barbershops, with many men visiting their neighborhood shops every 2 weeks to maintain a clean-cut appearance. Barber services, while still needed during and after the 1960s, were called upon less through the coming decades, and standards of male grooming relaxed, and the skills required to cut longer hair were more readily found with hairstylists. As longer hairstyles became more mainstream and less associated with social or political ideologies, there was a rise of unisex salons starting in the 1980s, which further threatened the livelihood of barbers, pulling clients away with the offer of fast and cheap hair services. Full service salons and spas rocketed in popularity in the 1990s, drawing even more men away from barbershops. After the turn of the century, a resurgence in barbering took place. New schools opened in many states, along with new barbershops, both independent and franchise. The salons and spas of the 1990s had lost their attractiveness, and barbershops could offer an atmosphere more geared to the male consumer. The year 2010 saw a massive return of beards and beard designs on young men, accompanied by a concern for facial grooming as part of a larger interest in cultivating personal style that include hair, body art, clothing, and more.